Hey guys, what's going on?
Welcome back to My Disney Addiction.
Woot woot!
Disney Detective Greg.
Your ghost host, number one ghost host, Chris.
Yes.
Hey guys, how you doing? It was quite a rough one last time.
Rough in terms of video.
I mean, the conversation was great. Loved it.
But now you can see us, and we can hopefully hear from you that you can see us, in fact.
So the thing was, last time we got all of the recording done. Everything was good to go, and then all of a sudden...
Spirits dashed.
Yeah, the video did not seem to record. That did not go well.
I know, but we triple checked everything. The video was fine. It just took a little bit for the audio to actually come up to par and actually work. So everything seems to be working now. I'm seeing all great things, continuing. So
our computer is showing us right now that we are good to go here.
Yes, red means record. It's not bad. Yeah. All right.
So we're going to be continuing this month with our Marvel kickoff, series. We're going to be doing kind of like we said, overarching Marvel theme for this year. Tons of Marvel movies. Always.
It's quite the daunting task, honestly.
Oh Lord, dude. I think it's going to be interesting because I think there may be some. I mean, I know there are some other Marvel movies coming out. Like Morbius is coming out with Jared Leto.
Oh, that's still happening?
Yep.
Okay.
That's happening. And then the Scarlet Witch. Not Scarlet. Yeah, Scarlet Witch and
Vision.
No,
right?
Scarlet Witch and Doctor
Strange. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like into the.
It's something with madness. It's like a deep pull out of the comic book.
Or like Universal Madness or Multiverse Madness.
Yes.
And then there's the oh my gosh, what's her name? Scarlett Johansson's character.
Oh yeah, Black Widow.
The Black Widow
solo movie.
Yeah. So that's happening. So there are a bunch of other Marvel movies coming out. I mean, so there's not going to be any lack of movies going forward with Marvel.
No.
I mean, they're going to definitely want to try to cash in on that cow for as long as possible. That's no lie there.
Nope.
But last week we started off with Iron Man. I mean,
Iron Man.
You can't really go wrong with Iron Man, can you?
No. I mean, this is like a great segue into what we're talking about now. It was the perfect foundation for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Perfect.
It was perfect. Lightning in a bottle. Again, it was just a Cinderella story. Everything seemed to go off perfectly. I mean, you had the lead actor who just struck stardom again. He found his niche. He found his character. He played Tony Stark so well. The story was engaging, entertaining, and left the audience with more after the movie ended, especially with the end scene. And we talked about that, how now Disney has conditioned all of us fans to wait through the long credits just so we can get the sneak peek of maybe a little bit of a tease into what the next movies will entail.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that we're going to be talking about today, obviously, is the next movie that came out. So, okay, technically not the next movie that came out. So what's going to happen is we're going to end up bypassing Edward Norton's The Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
Not because we hate Ed Norton. I mean, he was good in American History X.
Well, I mean, just The Incredible Hulk was a good movie.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I enjoyed
it. I'm just saying, like, we're skipping that one because everybody's used to Mark Ruffalo's Hulk.
Yeah.
So, and really, when anybody thinks of the MCU, nobody thinks of that one, really.
No, it was just like, it's just that distant cousin who's just like, hey, what about me? Or like, we're in a different universe entirely.
Yeah. So we're going to bypass that one, and we're going to jump to Iron Man 2.
The sequel.
Yes.
Sequel to Iron Man.
So, Greg, why don't you go ahead and tell us some of the people and characters that they play in the movie.
So the cast is as follows. Of course, you have Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and Tony Stark.
Yep.
One and the same now, since the world now knows that he is that strapping superhero in gold and red.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yes. Then you have Pepper Potts, who's played by Gwyneth Paltrow. She's as feisty as ever. You see Colonel Rhodey, but this time it's a different actor. It's not Terrence Howard. It is the Donald Cheadle.
Oh my gosh.
In the flesh.
The kind of backlash that kind of happened from that.
Yes. Well, I mean, as a little side tangent here, I did hear that I believe Jon Favreau, who's the director of Iron Man and Iron Man 2, he and Disney, well, not Disney, but Marvel wanted Don Cheadle to play Rhodey first and foremost for the first movie, but there was some scheduling conflict, or Cheadle couldn't, find the time with his current busy schedule, so then they decided to hire Terrence Howard. And then, after that happened, I think Terrence found out that, well, they're still secretly pining for Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
That there was this sort of tug of war and very awkward tension going on that led to the eventual casting, the recasting of Colonel Rhodey into Marvel's first choice of Don Cheadle. And personally, I did like Terrence Howard's portrayal of Rhodey a lot better than Don Cheadle's. Yes. I mean, just
in
for
some
me.
ways. I would say he seems a lot more of a intimidating physical presence.
Yes.
Than Don Cheadle.
Yeah. See, Don Cheadle, his portrayal of Rhodey always sort of, I think, gave off a maternal instinct or quality. Like he was always looking after Tony, and he was more softer.
Just softer, not more softer. That's not.
Sorry. Yes, I know. I'm doing a double affirmative or whatever that is. Yeah, just softer.
Yeah. So I think I agree with you. I think Terrence
Howard.
Yeah, I know, but I think Terrence did a better job than Don. Just I don't know. I feel like Terrence, he just has a more physical stature that kind of, as a military guy. I'm trying to say this with, some respect here. I feel like he comes across much more like a physically and in a presence sense more don't mess with me Tony. You may have the smarts, but don't mess with me.
Yeah, but yet you secretly know that he cares for Tony.
Yes.
That if Tony doesn't mess up or doesn't listen to him, it's not the end of the world. He won't walk away, even though he will threaten it, or he will, Yeah.
I don't know. Don Cheadle just doesn't seem like you said. He seems more like a paternal kind of person to me. Keep on.
That's right. Okay, so back on track with the list of cast. We also have Paul Bettany as the voice of Jarvis.
Yep.
And then we see a new character come in. Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. I forget what. Oh, Natasha. That's right.
Natasha Romanoff.
Yes, her real name's Natasha Romanoff. And then she
plays Natalie as the secretary.
Yes, yeah, the secretary who definitely knows her own around a boxing ring.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
She destroyed Happy.
Completely. That's actually one of my favorite scenes. I could just sit back and have a little good chuckle on. Of course, Happy Hogan, played by Jon Favreau. You have Sam Rockwell, who plays Justin Hammer. He's sort of like Tony Stark. He's very rich.
The B version of Tony Stark.
The B version, yes.
He also does.
That's
military,
a generous way.
Yeah,
of saying
he does military weapons like Tony. Just he doesn't do it as well.
Yeah, and it's not really above the table as well. He will find any way to get his way,
products out there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally you have the guy who plays Whiplash, Mickey Rourke. He comes in with a very strong and thick Russian accent, if I might add.
Yes, he does. So, Craig, I watched that movie last night.
Fresh in your memory.
And I watched Captain America last night.
Okay, the first Avenger.
And
we'll get to that, guys. Don't worry.
And I watched Thor today.
Woo!
So
Marvel Marathon.
And so I'm trying to keep everything in my head
Yeah,
straight.
Compartmentalize, Chris.
Yeah.
Compartmentalize.
So starting off with the movie, I think the movie
Yeah.
kind of sets up in a great way. I mean, obviously there are some things that happen. I mean, like we're not going to go second by second here. I mean, we generally do like an overview, but with this one, I think the main thing to kind of hit on, which is super important, is that while what is Rourke's character's name? Whiplash. His dad dies, and his dad worked with Howard Stark and somewhat kind of with S.H.I.E.L.D. Essentially was like, nope, you got to get out of here. You know, Howard, and so his dad sold information to the Soviet Union, you know, and they were like, you know, no, you got to get out of here. And and then the Soviet Union was like, yeah, we don't know who he is. And so he kind of just lived out his life kind of a little bit in exile there. And so his son, Whiplash, Mickey Rourke's character, sees his dad die and is, you know, very upset about it. And essentially wants to get back at Tony.
Very, very personal, yes.
Yeah. But where it starts off, so that's Mickey Rourke's kind of like backstory for his character.
Setting the stage.
What's going on with Iron Man right now is that it's 6 months, essentially. I think it's like 6 months to a year. Well, it's actually, about 6 months after Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know, like he announces that I'm Iron Man.
Deals with the fallout of that.
And so essentially what happens then is everybody's like, oh, okay, so you have this amazing suit that you're kind of like policing the world a little bit. And then the U.S. government's like, you essentially have a suit that can destroy a lot of military technology, and we want our hands on it.
Right.
You got to give it to us.
Yeah, because we don't think it's safe in your hands.
Yeah. And for the sake of the people of the U.S., you should give it to us. And Tony essentially goes to a court hearing and says, no, that's my property. You're not getting it.
Right. Yeah. I just got to cringe because I remember watching that scene, you know, when they were trying to figure out, or they were trying to build their own like Iron Man suit. And then I just remember that guy in like the crude version. And then like he was trying to turn. Yeah. And then like the mecha suit that he was wearing just like twisted too fast, like completely just, you know, split his spine. Yeah. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah. So it was rough.
Yeah, just because Tony, he's such an engineering genius that for him to be able to create that in some third world bunker, you know, with minimal supplies, like they even brought that up in the hearing. It's like, how did Tony Stark do this, you know, when he was captured by terrorists with this kind of, with these limited supplies, and yet, you know, some of the best defense departments in the world cannot create that for their own. So like they're just, their mind is blown, and then that's why they're reaching out to Tony, because, well, no one else in the world can build something as effective and as safe for the person wearing it as Tony.
Yeah, so I think so that's kind of one of the backstories of this movie. Another backstory of this movie is that essentially the arc reactor that Tony made is killing him.
Yep. Got to throw that in, spice things up a bit.
And so that plays another part, which plays a role in future movies. He essentially hands things over to Pepper Potts and makes her the CEO of Stark Industries. And so that's kind of a weird situation. Well, then they bring on this person from legal to essentially make that transition happen, which enter in Natasha Romanoff, aka Natalie.
Yes, and one of her many haircut changes throughout the whole film, because like it seems like every film that she's in, she has a different haircut. Yeah. And for me, I don't know which one you like the most, but it's not this one in this movie. Not my favorite.
So like that one, so that comes up, and so there's that whole thing, and nobody kind of knows who Natalie is. I mean, Tony says all the time, like, I just can't get a read on you. What kind of, you know, who are you, and all that stuff.
And of course, he finds her attractive.
Yeah, I like my. So in the scene with the kickboxing or whatever it is, to me it's funny because Jon Favreau was actually in Friends, and when he was dating Monica, he had like
full circle.
He had like become the best in like the business world, and so he wanted to take it to like the physical realm. So he tries to train to become a UFC fighter.
Ultimate Fighting Champion,
and just gets his butt whooped multiple times. At one point, he has a full-size cast on, and so Monica's like, "Yeah, no, if you gotta just stop." And he's like, "Well, you're asking me to change who I am, so I'm not doing it." So it's kind of funny that like he gets his butt whooped again.
Yep, I know. And
in this movie,
I'm wondering if he wanted to be in that scene. Like he's like, "Hey, can I please like just be in this scene? I think it'd be a cool like nod to Friends." If it was unintentional, well, it was one of the better unintentional things that did happen. But you're right. It was a really cool thing knowing that in his past selection of work that
to me kind of was like one of those like kind of I saw the movie and I was like, oh, that's awesome. I watched it again. I was like, that was awesome. But then it brought my brain back to the Friends episode. But during that, so after Natasha Romanoff, Scarlett Johansson, sorry,
with the long curly hair,
essentially kicks his butt, and then she walks out, and Tony looks at Pepper Potts and says, "I want one," and she's like, "No." and Pepper Potts is essentially kind of like, yeah, I know she's attractive, like I'm still here, kind of thing.
Right, exactly.
So it's one of those things, but then they eventually become like close and all that stuff.
It's like one of those memes, or like that meme, when you have the boyfriend holding the hand of his girlfriend, but he's looking behind at his other girl.
Yes.
Like Tony's holding the hand of Pepper, but yet he's like, ooh, Natalie.
Yes.
This new girl, okay.
So that happens, and then eventually what happens is they're in what country is it? Is that Greece? Are they in Greece?
It's the one with, it could be Monaco, right?
Monaco?
With the racetrack?
I think it's Monaco.
I think it's Monaco.
So they're there, and Tony owns this racing company, so he essentially is like, hey, get out of the car, I'm driving. And when you own it, you can say that. So he gets in. Obviously, Pepper Potts is not happy about that because it's like, you're not in NASCAR. It wasn't
and this
NASCAR.
is a death trap.
It wasn't a NASCAR. Was it Formula One?
Yeah,
Formula One racing. And she's like freaking out, blah, 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 blah. Well, unbeknownst to them, Whiplash has been making his own arc reactor, working on trying to do all this stuff. So he's driving. Eventually, he steps into the middle of the track and starts like cutting cars in half.
Vroom. That was a pretty epic, way to show off his power for the first time.
Yeah. So that was really cool. I liked that scene. There are moments in movies where it's like almost, this is like they're trying to be funny, but it comes across as somewhat like, this is dumb. Like, you're not really being funny to me. Like, so when they're in the car and they hit Whiplash, so Happy and Pepper Potts are in the car to drive the suit over to Tony. Well, they hit Whiplash against one of the walls, and they keep ramming him, and Whiplash had cut one of the doors in half. And so, like, Pepper Potts is trying to get it out, but they go back and forth and back, and she keeps trying to get it in and out, and he's like, just give me the suitcase. And it's just back and forth. I'm like, it's funny, but it's not good funny.
Right.
So that didn't really work for me, but I mean, overall, I thought the scene was really cool. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, that scene.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, don't mean to backtrack, but I really do like how this sequel is bringing in more of the real world consequences, or just how easily the quote unquote like mob mentality is to Tony's situation. That he literally has like the power of a god, he's super power, like no one can really stand up to him and come away victorious if Tony were to, flip the switch and, become evil. Yeah. So I really do like that there's that tension and sort of fear in the air that then brings Tony to to see if there might be a way for there to be like a checks and balances. I really did like that part of the movie. Of course, I do like drama and twists, so when you put more personal I guess values at stake, it also is just makes for a really good movie. And up to that point with the race in Monaco, I was digging the movie. Really good.
Up into? So like you didn't like that race?
No, it's like it's just what happens after. It's sort of just like it sort of
kind of went down.
Yeah, it's like it decelerates for me a little bit.
I like that. Decelerates.
You like it?
Yeah.
You like that?
Formula One racing. All right. We do funny here on this podcast.
That's right.
Good times. Yeah. That's good pie. That's good pie.
Great pie.
Yeah. Kronk. So when that happens we'll kind of do like a walkthrough of the movie, and we're trying to explain it.
Right.
So when that happens, it's very important that Whiplash did that, and he built that arc reactor, and he had the technology to make the essentially like that Whiplash. The reason why it's important is because previously Tony, when he was in the courtroom, he had Don Cheadle's character sit with him and attest for him like, hey, nobody's going to have this technology for at least 10 to 20 years. Right? And then they showed videos of people trying to make it, and it's like not working. He's like, see what I'm saying?
Back to my nightmare scene where it's just like gives me the cringes.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then literally a day later when he's there, somebody has an arc reactor and using the exact same technology.
Yeah.
And so that essentially propulses, Don Cheadle's character to be like, I stuck my neck out for you.
And now this happened.
Yeah, and you told everybody 10 years minimum before anybody else had this technology, and it hasn't even been 24 hours yet. And somebody comes out and has the same thing, essentially. Maybe not like the suit, but they have the technology to do something that you can do. And so that's when he's like, you need to give this over to the government.
Right.
Like, this isn't a joke anymore. We need more protection for situations like this. And so Tony, obviously, still being Tony, does not want to give it up. And I get it. Like, rightfully, that's his technology. That's essentially his
invention.
That's his invention. And it's like, he doesn't want to give that up to anybody else. He should have the right to what he does with his technology to an extent. And so, like, he knows that he's dying through this process while he's handing over the company to Pepper Potts. He has this huge party up at his loft. People are all there.
It's a little crunky. It's a little crazy.
And so, eventually, Cheadle's character, I always forget what his name is. What is his name?
Rhodey.
Gosh, I always forget his name.
Rhodey.
But Rhodey ends up going down and getting the Mark II. And essentially, because like Robert Downey Jr.'s character, Tony Stark, is in the Iron Man suit during this party. And eventually all these girls who are drunk and just doing dumb stuff, they're throwing stuff into the air, and Tony's like blasting it into the air. And Rhodey's like, this is dangerous. You're in a small contained area with a bunch of people.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a huge down point in Tony's life because, like you said, he's dying, and I think he sort of came to grips with it. He's like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Nothing's going to stop me from dying. And, he thinks that it's going to be sooner rather than later. So, he just did it in true, Tony fashion. Just went all out and just didn't care. And it really, again, shows that sort of fall of a superhero. But, of course, later on he picks himself back up. But I think that also makes you feel for and admire and love the character even more when they're able to pick themselves up after going through such a dark whirlpool,
Yeah, and so Rhodey puts on the Mark II. Him and Tony fight in the Iron Man suit.
That's right, yep.
And eventually Rhodey gets away. And previous to this happening, So after the Monaco situation, and then you have the, Mark II Brody versus Iron Man.
Drunk Iron Man Tony.
So before that, in the middle, Whiplash actually gets, hijacked out of prison because they catch him, obviously. They, get hijacked out of prison, and it just so happens to be...
The B version of Tony Stark.
Exactly. And what's his name again?
Justin Hammer.
Hammer
Industries.
Yeah. It's Hammer time. We don't have the pants, though.
Can't touch this. Oh, I wish we did.
Dude, that'd be pretty sick.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Those shiny... What are they?
Gold
pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the genie pants.
Yeah.
Genie pants.
I'm just thinking about us with those pants on. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Comment below, people, if we need to buy these.
Yes, and please let us know if you want to see us in those shiny gold pants, because
It's
we'll happily put them on.
Dude, I don't even have to do that for YouTube to do that. If I had a pair of pants, I'd be freaking wearing them all the time.
All the time. We wouldn't get Chris to take them off.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I'd be going to work in that, and they'd be like, "What up?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, what's up?"
You can't touch this.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, where were we?
We were talking about...
Oh, yes. So,
Hammer. Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer's character springs Whiplash out, gets him out, and he's like, "Hey, here's the thing. I saw what you did. That's awesome. I'm on your side. I want you to make me those suits. You make me those suits, and I will give you anything you want, all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. I'm giving you your freedom." So that's kind of what's going on behind the scenes that nobody else really knows about, that Hammer's using Whiplash's knowledge and technique to build the suits that he doesn't have the technology for or the capability of at this point. And then after that, that's when the fight with Tony and Iron Man happened.
Tony and War Machine?
Tony and War Machine.
He's going to be called
War Machine. He will be. Technically, he has the Mark II on right now. So they get into their fight. Brody leaves with it. And so that happens. And people, are kind of thinking, well, what happened? How did, he beat you and get away? And even Natalie's character, because eventually, Tony's in a complete lull. He's like, whatever, I don't care. Take the suit, all this stuff. And that's when Nick Fury, eventually is like, hey, what's going on? And all this stuff. And he's like, hey, Tony's like, Rhodey, he got away. I just couldn't stop him. And then Natalie's like, you have systems in place that would stop him from even activating the suit. So you kind of just let him up and walk away with it. And Tony didn't really say much to that except for, yeah.
And that was a part where he's eating the donut in the big donut, right?
Yes, yep, at the donut shop.
There you go.
Yeah.
Classic.
I like a good donut, that's for sure. To be honest, custard-filled donuts.
Okay.
Jelly-filled donuts. And then I would have to go with maple donuts.
Donuts, maybe sprinkle some bacon bits on top to get that savory sweetness action going.
No. You don't put bacon bits on top of donuts. You have a separate tray.
Oh, on the side.
Okay, people, let's just stop here for a second. Listen here. If you have bacon, don't bits, don't do crumbles. Here's your food. So if you have a salad, bacon. That's all you need. Okay? Listen, don't take greatness and make it smaller and just have little tiny, what essentially equates to one piece of bacon. Have your food, have a separate tray of bacon. If there's one thing you get from this podcast, separate plate or tray of bacon with anything that requires bacon.
But see, bacon goes good with literally everything. Sure, you can have it on a side, but it's so much better when you put it on the other food.
So if bacon goes with everything, don't put it on something. Eat that and then have bacon.
Put it together because it's all going down in the same place.
Okay, but here's my argument to that. If we will get back to this, but I got to make this point.
This is important though. Bacon is important.
This is going to happen now. So listen, if I'm having steak and then I have some really good mashed potatoes, I'm not putting mashed potatoes on top of my steak.
Right, that's a great point because it's not bacon.
Yeah. So
Look at this. Put bacon on your steak or your sirloin. Whoa, bacon wrapped sirloin. Who doesn't love that?
Bacon. Okay, never mind. So all I'm trying to say, folks, bacon's great. Bacon's amazing. I mean, it's one of Ron Swanson's favorite foods.
I knew you were going to bring him into this.
So
I knew you were going to bring him into this.
Okay, Ron Swanson is my spirit animal. It's as simple as that. So we're gonna get.
Mine's an otter.
Okay, so we're gonna get back to Iron Man, but like, comment, subscribe, and specifically comment if you want us to talk about bacon some more.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully that they're already baking for more.
Ah.
Get it? Begging for more, bacon for more.
Yeah.
I should just have like a drum set off on my side, just doing rim shots.
No, that would go
Getting
bad.
ready.
Maybe we'll make a tray of bacon. We should just have bacon here and then eat it. Oh my gosh, that would be the best.
Okay, next episode, right here.
Oh my god.
I actually have a Toy Story bacon tray. I kid you not.
I am so hungry right now for some bacon. After this episode, we're going to the gas station. We're picking up bacon and I'm making it.
Yes. Oh, here we go.
Okay, so eventually, Nick Fury and Natalie are talking to him, and Nick Fury's like, "Hey, I see that you're sick here. Why haven't you been able to fix that?" And then Tony's like, I have conceived every concoction with every single known element that we have, and I cannot come up with an option here." And then, Nick Fury eventually is like, "Hey, I've known your dad for a while. He said that you would know a way to come up with anything in the future, and blah, 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 blah."
Yeah. And then he says, "Where's my super suit?" Oh, wait, wrong movie. Sorry.
Gosh. So,
Sorry about that.
that happens. Eventually, Tony kind of has like a moment of realization.
Revelation.
Yeah. And so he goes to talk to Pepper Potts and say, "I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah." And what happens is his dad has a bunch of these old recordings that they did for the Stark Expo. And so he's watching them, trying to figure out, like, what is this thing? What is this thing? He has no idea. He goes to see Pepper Potts, tries to go and apologize. Doesn't go so well.
Because it's Tony.
Yeah.
He's not good at apologizing.
But then he ends up getting all, like, this actual, like, essentially what amounts to, like, a full-size table model of what Tony was doing. Essentially what Walt did with, like, dioramas and for Epcot and stuff like that. That's essentially what Howard Stark did. And so Tony sees it, he takes it, he drives it back home, which, by the way, would not have worked in the movie. These things were like 7 or 8 feet tall.
I know, it didn't make any sense, but I'm like,
and then it's sitting like almost straight up in his
He's booking
in his convertible Audi. Those things would have flown out.
Yeah.
Okay, regardless.
Physics don't apply in Marvel movies, apparently.
But somehow they try to explain it all the time.
You're right, they do. I think they just keep saying it so fast and they use big words that people are like, hey, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah,
like,
that's
let's just
generally how to
keep it rolling.
Generally, that's how you can make most people be quiet. Just use a lot of big words
And speak really fast.
And speak really fast. And people are like, okay. And then they generally just don't want to talk to you. My way of doing it is just be so annoying that they don't talk to you normally.
Right.
So that's kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
Because I can use big words and be annoying.
There you go. See? That's his superpower, folks.
Mm-hmm. So that happens. He gets that going on. And then we find out that Whiplash is making the suits for Hammer. And it's not actually a suit. They're drones. And Hammer's like, I wanted suits. Why am I not getting suits? I busted you out for suits. You give me suits. I gave you freedom. And I gave you a bird.
Yeah, he kept saying, I want my bird.
So I gave you that. Now give me the suits. Didn't get that. Got drones. So he's like, okay, I'm going to trust you. And these better work at the expo. So that whole situation is going on over there. And so Tony ends up finding this diorama, whatever table thing. And eventually finds out that there's like, oh, this thing kind of looks like a molecule, and it's like, yeah, the atoms and the neutrons, and he essentially 3D images it on with Jarvis, and he breaks apart everything, does some weird, stuff with it, and then he finds out like, oh, this is the middle of a molecule, and essentially rips it apart, and so he creates essentially what comes down to, I forgot what the technical equipment thing is called, but essentially it rips apart, the molecule.
I think it's fission.
Is it?
Yeah, because fusion, I think, is when you bring it together. Fission is taking it. It's like the opposite. Yeah. It's anti-fusion.
So
fission.
And so is that true?
Yes, and I mean that is a Greg fact, but it's also like a true fact. So I'm guessing.
But that's what that actual tunnel tube thing is that he made. It was like he essentially was ripping it apart or doing something with it. But he created his own new element, which was to replace the arc reactor to help him get better and heal better.
Breakthrough.
So that happens. The expos, and then we move to the expo. Hammer's showing off all these new suits. He's like, oh, here's the Navy, here's the Army, Marines, Air Force, all that stuff.
The whole gamut.
Yep. And then Tony, and then he has a War Machine, which is, he's like, Brody essentially is controlling. And Tony shows up, comes down, and everybody is like super happy and all that stuff. Well, Whiplash in the background is controlling all these drones and Rhodey's suit, War Machine.
Oof.
And they all start going after Tony. There's big fights going on, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, Natasha ends up hacking into the system, makes it so that War Machine, Rhodey can control his suit again.
She's much more than just a pretty face.
And so that happened. After that, War Machine, Iron Man, they start taking down all the droids, and then
the droids. Getting a little Star Wars lexicon in there.
Well, they're droids.
Drones.
Drones.
Droids.
They are drones.
Yeah,
right? Droids.
They're not droids.
They're not droids.
They're drones.
They're not droids from Star Wars, and they're not androids from Dragon Ball Z. So
they're drones.
Drones. Why do I keep saying droids?
I don't know, but droids, it's a really fun word to say. If you say it too much, it sort of loses its meaning and it feels weird on your mouth. Sort of like a lot of words if you keep repeating it.
Have you ever seen
bacon? No, for some reason, bacon just always seems right and makes sense.
Bacon always sounds good. There's never a point where I can say bacon too many times and it doesn't sound good.
True.
Have you ever seen the How I Met Your Mother episode when Ted kind of has that same thing? He's like, anything sounds weird if you say it enough. And he's like, bowl. He just keeps going. I think it's pretty funny. Getting back to what I was saying. And then Whiplash comes up with this new Iron Man suit that he comes up with, obviously nowhere near as sleek or anything like that.
No.
But, big, gigantic suit, has the Whiplash things going on.
Still has the ability to do some tremendous damage, so don't want to overlook that.
Eventually, War Machine and Iron Man, they shoot blasters at each other, and then it blows up right in front of...
There you go, blasters again. It's like a Star Wars reference episode.
I don't know what's going on, man. Things happening. And so that eventually happens, and War Machine, Rhodey's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to take the suit. And then whatever is going on with that. And that essentially is pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah. It's like Tony coming back, to life, literally, because he was able to make a breakthrough to save his skin, and then, just develop the arc reactor further, as well as, figured out that, well, if we do essentially militarize this technology, it is bound to go wrong. And Tony is the only person who can have control and should have control of this technology.
Yep.
And so, again, a huge realization on the U.S. government, and of course, Justin Hammer is just being a jerk the whole movie. So he definitely got what
was coming to him,
what he deserved.
That was true. So, Craig,
yeah,
that was kind of a long run through of the movie. What did you think about it as a whole?
So, of course...
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I needed to get a drink, so I don't mean to be rude.
How dare you cut me off?
Okay, go ahead, Greg. This is going to be really good, guys. No, sorry. Seriously, go ahead.
Is it bacon flavored?
No, it's not bacon flavored.
It should be bacon flavored.
I'm sorry. They should create a bacon flavored energy drink.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd have a heart attack in 2 days. Go ahead, seriously though.
Okay.
The movie?
Yes, you were friend. So
not sponsored by Monster.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not sponsoring that. But I am sponsoring Iron Man 2. It was a good movie for me. Not as good as the first. Of course, you have that whole dilemma, that stereotype of the sequels never match up to the original, and I think that was the case. Mm-hmm. Still a good movie. I do like that they did a good job at continuing the storyline and adding in new twists, and again, just the real life application of, well, what if a billionaire engineer ended up creating this huge mecha suit? Mm-hmm. How would the world react? So, and then of course by this time, chronologically speaking, we really haven't talked about or seen any other Marvel superheroes yet. So,
well, yeah.
I mean, with Natalie or Natasha, she's not really. I don't consider her.
I was talking about the Hulk, because technically speaking.
Oh, well, true. I mean, but again, just like in this Marvel universe.
Well, he's part of that universe.
I know, but still, though, like we said, Bruce Banner is Mark Ruffalo's version is that Hulk.
Yeah.
In that MCU, and I think of Edward Norton's as like a standalone that's different. Yeah. But not in a shared universe. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's good. I forgot to rank or rate, I should say, Iron Man 1. I would give it a 9 out of 10.
Well, you said that last time.
Good. Okay, then I'm glad that it matches up.
Yeah, there we go.
For Iron Man 2, you're right. It's coming back to me. For Iron Man 2, I would give it a solid 6.
Okay.
I'd say. How about you?
This movie was, when I first saw it, there were parts that I liked. It was a little bit of a letdown for me. Mm-hmm. It did not wow me like the first one did. But then again, nobody saw anything kind of like Iron Man before. And so I would say bringing in new characters was great. To me, like Whiplash, lackluster to me as a villain. Hammer, just a whiny, spoiled guy. Yep. And then, I mean, Rhodey's interaction with Tony, and it just felt very, like, almost like a kind of a stupid, weak point. Almost. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there was too much lacking for me in this movie that I wouldn't consider it that great out of a lot of the movies. It's probably near the lower of my list. But for me personally, I mean, this is where I disagree with you. I don't think the real life application is to me. It's just
Okay.
I'm like, okay, so we're dealing with kind of the same situations that could happen in this world in some issues, specifically with the political thing of Tony's situation of like, right. Hey, you have this insane technology that nobody else can really touch. Mm-hmm. You need to give it to the government so we can protect ourselves from other people.
Right. I mean, can I mention that situation was propagated by Tony, because Tony was the one that said, hey, I'm going to tell the world that I'm this Iron Man. Which I think sort of goes against usually what superheroes do. Like, they want to keep it a secret, especially like, the alter ego. So again, that was fresh and new. To see that in a movie, that he actually, proclaimed that. But then, again, it's just the consequences of that. So...
Yeah, I get it's the consequences of that. But what I'm trying to say is, like, to me, it's one of those things where... Well, okay. Because this is where it's almost a similar ethical question that comes up in oh my gosh... Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. No.
Okay.
Captain America, Civil War.
Yep.
Because that is
See,
after.
I was thinking about that
after
too.
that was after Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, where essentially they dropped the whole city of Sokovia and tons of people die. And in Civil War, it's very much the ethical question of, you guys have all these powers and nobody's keeping you in check.
Free reign or government control, yeah.
Yeah, which that's a different question of, you have a certain natural powers or certain powers. Are you allowed to do whatever you want with the powers versus you have this technology, give it to us so we own it and you don't have any rights to it? There's a difference.
True.
That's a good point. There's a similarity.
There's an underlying thread.
Those two things are somewhat correlated.
Yeah.
But I would say the fact that it's Tony's technology, he does not have to give that to anybody.
No.
That's his right to. As long as he's not doing harm intentionally to people with it in a bad way, then it's like, okay, you are fine. The difference with the effects of the Sokovia issues, and that's why they had the Sokovia trials, or the Sokovia Peace Accord, or whatever the case was, it was called, was specifically, even forget Tony for a second. I mean, you have, Thor and the Hulk were gone, because, I mean, those two are, like, the biggest hitters, right? But, like, you have Captain America, you have, like, all these guys who, in some cases, are very, very strong characters, like, fighting each other on the philosophy or the ethics of, are you going to tell me what to do with my powers? Like, I'm subject to you, and I'm pretty much your little errand boy when you want me to do something that's right or wrong.
Right.
And then that leaves, this is, okay, we got to stop, because this is going to turn into a whole different discussion.
Right, and we can keep going.
We can keep going on this, because we will get in this when we get into Civil War.
Yes.
Here's my thing. I get where you're coming from. Tony set himself up for that because he announced who he was.
Right.
But at the same time, just because I say I am this does not mean I owe you something.
True. Right, yeah.
So that's where I get very hesitant about that idea of, like, so if somebody, so like with Disney, like if they come up with a technology, do they owe that technology to everybody else?
No, they just make it available to those who want to pay for it.
Or pay for
Capitalism, smashing.
So, but that's fine, because it's like when they created animatronics, that was amazing technology for that day. Well, other people know how to make animatronics now.
Yeah, it was just they were the first. They
were the first,
leading edge.
Yeah, and Walt did not owe anybody that. Now I understand there's a difference between an animatronic and a machine that could destroy a tank.
Yeah, yeah.
I get the difference there. It still comes back to, you can't demand somebody give something up when they haven't given you a reason that they've used it for evil. Right.
Yeah. It's just, again, it's just their fear of the unknown, or fear of it being so different and sort of out of the box that they didn't even think this was possible.
Yeah.
That is why it led them to want that from Tony.
Yeah, well, and the U.S. government wanted it because they wanted to protect themselves.
Yeah.
But the problem is, when you give that kind of technology to a bunch of people that can make choices with that technology, it's very dangerous.
Yeah, it changes the scales, and then it makes it either, less valuable, but all the more dangerous, because you have everybody, and they're not afraid of anything just because, if they attack first, they can wipe everything out. But again, the other people will have the same, so it'll be like this huge world war. It just blows everything out of proportion.
So I don't know. I don't really like the real world perspective on this movie.
I can respect that.
To me, it just turns this movie. It almost makes it like, dude, I don't really care about getting into this. That's why personally, the next movie we're going to talk about, I really like in a lot of ways, but it's really the following movie that we're going to talk about that I'm super excited about.
Okay.
And a bunch of other things. I like that fantasy big, oh my gosh. That's why I liked Harry Potter. That's why I liked, Marvel. There are a lot of different things that I like. I felt like Iron Man 2 turned too much of it into a... Like, there was that underlying, like, we have a super villain that Tony has to fight, but it was very much like, here's the political aspect of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because, like, especially when people watch superhero movies, they sort of want to dispense belief. They just want to have fun, like you said, go into that fantasy world or science fiction world. Whereas this movie sort of straddled that line with the real world because they kept that in and maybe made that more of the focus, for the entirety of the movie. So, in that regard, I do agree with you that it did get a little old, where I wanted it to be more fantastical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
any characters stick out to you as great?
I did like the addition of Natasha Romanoff. I thought that was a good way they brought in her character. And even though Justin Hammer, he was the guy, to be despised and not the one to root after, I do like Sam Rockwell, and I think he did a really good portrayal of Justin Hammer. So those two I really do like. And of course, it goes without saying Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. How about you?
I think Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff was a very good addition. I think the way she played off that character was very, very good.
Yeah, good starting point.
I like Nick Fury's interaction with Tony. I just like how Nick Fury so like doesn't care about Tony's smarts or wits. He's just very much like, I don't really care.
And it doesn't get under his skin.
No. I like at one point he's like, yeah, essentially he's like, believe it or not, you're not the center of my universe.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to be dealing with you right now, Tony. I have other things to deal with. So it's like, I like that Nick Fury is very much like, listen, I'm willing to help you, but I don't want to deal with you. And you might be smart and rich and all that stuff. I don't freaking care. So I like that a lot. But he still is a mentor and leader in a way. So it's not like he's just like one of those like jerk bosses who is like a prick just because he's the boss.
Yeah, it's like, oh, because I said so, and doesn't really give a good reason. Nick Fury always has stuff to back up his decisions.
Yeah. So Greg, as we wrap up today.
Yeah.
1 out of 10 for this movie.
6.
I would give it maybe a 4.
Okay.
Definitely not anywhere near my highs for a lot of the other Marvel movies.
All right, sounds good.
But it's whatever. So, out of all the Marvel movies,
out of the 27, I think right now.
No, there's not that many, is there?
22.
I don't know.
I know it's in the 20s.
So would you put it in the bottom 5? Middle? Definitely not in the top 5.
I'd put it in the bottom.
Yep, me too. Bottom.
Bottom.
This one's forgettable for me.
Yep, and there's so many others that are better than Iron Man 2. And even though I'm giving it a 6, there's just a lot more. There are a lot more movies.
Well, you're giving it a 6 based off of the movie credentials. Isolated towards itself.
Exactly. See, so it's weighted a certain way.
Overall, I thought the movie was a 4 by itself, isolated. In the scheme of all the Marvel movies, for this whole set for 10 years, it's forgettable to me.
Yep.
If I'd never see that movie again, I don't care. To be honest with you, I will watch a lot of other movies. Forget Marvel for a second. There would be a lot of other movies that I would watch over that one again.
Same.
So yeah, it wasn't too bad. So Greg, we're gonna wrap up here today.
That's right.
It was great having this discussion. Where can they find us?
Yes, you can find us on all of the social medias. Of course, YouTube. Hopefully you're watching that as well. But on Facebook, you can find us, My Disney Addiction Podcast. Twitter, our handle is @MyDisneyAddicts. And Instagram, gram it up with my_Disney_addiction_podcast. And is there another way that our followers or listeners and viewers can reach out to us?
I don't know. You named all of them, didn't you?
Yes. Well, I mean, also, if you're interested in seeing if you want to be a part of the podcast.
Yeah, we have
a little segue there.
Oh, there you go. You can email us at My Disney Addiction Podcast.
I should have just
You just
kept
go
with
for
it. I should have just kept with it. Yeah, so My Disney Addiction Podcast at gmail.com if you want to write to us. And even if you send us a quick little video or audio snippet of who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been a Disney addict, we will do our best to feature you in a future episode at the end.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys email us, like, even if you email us a response to this, or, you know, message, like, if you do something to try to interact with us, we'll try to interact with you, you know, through the social media accounts, whether that's Instagram, whatever the case is, you know, interact with you on the chat on YouTube, or potentially, depending on how in depth you want to go with it, if you email us, like, we'll probably respond to your email live on the YouTube channel video.
Yes.
So, like, if you tell us, hey, I don't agree with you about Iron Man 2, and you email us, we'll pull it up and we'll talk about it on the next episode and be like, hey, this is what whoever said, and interact with that a little bit.
Yeah, we will not shy away. In fact, we want this to be an open community, open discussion as much as possible. So if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification button, as well as give us a big thumbs up so we can continue moving forward, you know, with these videos, because this is another great added feature for you guys, and we're really excited to be on YouTube as well. On, you know, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure you write us a review and give us those 5 stars. That helps us out a lot as well.
Other thing I want to mention, a couple things before we leave. 3 things, actually. 1, we're going to be starting kind of like a food-based thing on the YouTube channel. We still have to find time to record those. We're all busy, and my sister-in-law, who is very good at cooking and who is going to be pretty much the one who wanted to start doing that, she's in Florida right now. So she is...
And where in Florida is she?
She's actually in Lady Lake, visiting her grandparents, so my wife's grandparents.
Okay. They
live down there in the Villages. She's actually going to be going to the Flower and Garden Festival.
Oh,
I don't know which day it is. Yeah, but she's going to that. Her husband, her 2 kids, and then my mother-in-law and their grandparents are going to be going. So
awesome.
It's going to be a good time.
Very cool.
So the other thing, too, is... we're going to be doing a Patreon account. We're going to be looking at setting that up. We don't know exactly how we want to do it. We're still kind of in the works.
Yeah.
But we will say there's going to be behind the scenes stuff there. There's going to be potential other videos like Disney doses. So those are going to be like 5 to 10 minute little video clips of additional things that we want to talk about video on. So we're kind of in the works of doing that right now. Still trying to figure out how we want to set it up. But look forward to doing that as well. And then 3rd, we are doing our giveaway this month.
The first ever. It's be awesome.
First ever giveaway. We're going to do those once a month. And this month, we're going to be giving away something that we'll be linking in all of our media posts and everything like that. Eventually, what we're going to do is, even at the end of this video, we'll have the picture of that just pop up for a quick second. Or we'll put a link in there, whatever the case may be. Copyright laws. So we can possibly put a link in the description below so you can see what that is. And then the way to be entered in on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, YouTube, whatever the case is, if you share our video, any of not our video, the picture, or even our YouTube channel video, and you have to take somebody else in it. If you take somebody else in anything that we post, whether the picture or specifically the video of what we're giving away, then you will be entered in to get that giveaway. So if you take somebody in on Facebook, you know, multiple times, so you take your dad, your mom, your sister, your brother, every individual time you do that, we'll go ahead and we will enter you in one more time. So the more shares with different people that you do,
better chance at you getting that prize.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, it's exciting.
All right, you guys, it was a great time. It was a fun discussion, and we will look forward to speaking to you guys next week when we cover what?
Captain America.
Cap.
Woo woo.
Captain America.
Oh, the first Avenger. That's going to be an awesome video.
It's going to be great.
Make sure to tune in, and thank you for coming to your only place to get your Disney fix.